welcome back to another figure review. Today will be the 1/6 scale GameToys Death Note figures. This is obviously the 3-pack of L and both Kira, all like Yagami. So you got the school suit brown on the far right, and in the middle you've got the black suit, pretty much season 2 look of Yagami. And yeah, this is pretty much my first GameToys figures. I have seen the Final Fantasy ones in hand from, friends, but I'm not a massive Final Fantasy fan. I mean, I like the games, just not enough to buy the figures. But this Death Note, I'm a massive fan of, and knowing GameToys and their quality, this is something I did not want to miss out on. It's either this or the Medicom old Real Action Hero versions, and when you see this next to them, the Medicom ones are far outdated compared to these guys. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is split them all up and individually give them a quick review, starting with the brown suit Light, because that's the first appearance we see, pretty much the first opener scene of the anime and the manga is Light in this look. So we'll start off with him, L after that, and then season 2 Light in the black suit. So if you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and we'll get right into it. So we have season 1, or the school look of Light, with the scythe and the apple. Pretty much copying one of my favourite covers from the manga. Pop up the reference now. And the scythe is only in the manga covers, because I'm trying to remember, it's definitely not in the anime, and it's definitely, if I remember, it's not in the manga as well. I haven't read the manga for a while, but I did rewatch the anime pretty recently, and I love it. But yeah, definitely I think it's just the cover art that this scythe is a part of. But I love the cover so much that I'm going to have Light pose like this. And the apples are pretty big significance. So yeah, I think it all meshes well with what I've done here. And yeah, I really like that GameToys have really made Light pretty young in this sculpt, especially compared to the other one that I'll show later on in the black suit. This one does really hammer home how young he is. I think he was like 17, 18 when the series started. And then later on, I think he was a 23-year-old or something like that at the end. And yeah, all the fabric goods are pretty nice. The belt doesn't seem like it's pleather, but I may be wrong. Maybe it's just a stronger grain of pleather compared to someone like Hot Toys. Oh yeah, and he does come with his own base. Almost forgot about that. The one critique I have, and you can see it here, just how big the footprint of the base is. If the base was maybe half its size, I would have really liked it. I'm most likely not going to display him with a base, though, because he is kind of top heavy-ish, because he's got his arm extended and he's holding a scythe. By the way, the scythe is resin, so it's not too top heavy, but just because of this pose, I'm just going to have a acrylic see-through base instead of this one, even though I really like that. But yeah, I think it's just the size is way too big in my opinion. It's a big footprint, and if you're gonna collect multiple anime figures, or even if you're just gonna collect the 3 that they give you, with the display base and L's chair and or his table accessories, you probably won't fit them in a detolf, or you would struggle to fit them perfectly snug into a D12. But other than that, I mean, that's such a minor critique. I mean, to complain about a base, I mean, some official companies like 3-0 don't even give you a base, so again, I'm appreciative that we get one. But, you know, I will get something that suits me a bit better, especially if you're going to cramp it into a module case or something like that, just for a better footprint. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I might stop him on the rotating base, and I might pop the head sculpt off and just show you the roll the eye technique, and a pretty unique thing that they've done, especially with the joystick, and I'll show you now. So this is the head sculpt of the body, and I'm only going to show this with light, or the brown suit version of light, just because all of them have a similar technique of how the hair piece removes and how you can move the eyes. So with both versions of light, you have to take the whole face off downwards, so like this, and it is magnetized, and as you can see, mine just came off, but that's alright, I'll just blob it with glue. But yeah, friction, it still holds with friction, but my magnet popped off. So that's what it looks like, obviously off. And that's the neck connector there. And this is pretty much the light faceplate. Similar to a 3-0, as I mentioned them before. They do a similar thing like this. But what's unique about this is the rolly eyes. I don't think you can move it with your fingers. So you have to use this joystick, similar to what Hot Toys give. But it's almost like you have to, well, you do have to use it. So you have to slot it into that T or X, sorry, the X crossing to move the eyes. So you can't dig your finger into it. And if you can, I don't think you can roll it without this. Which is funny, I thought this was Owl stacking sugar cubes. Because when I unboxed it, I'm like, what the hell is this? Does this key into something like the teacup or the tray? Owl does stack sugar cubes. So I thought that's what this was. But then I saw all of them have this. So I thought, oh no, it's got to be for this. And then I realized. So yeah, you just plug it into there and move the eyes. I'm not going to do it on camera because I like the positioning I've already given light. And for this light, because this is the more younger version, the more somewhat innocent version, I've got his eyes more in like a neutral pose. And yeah, and then obviously you pop this back on, and that's how you move the eyes. So what I'm going to do now is go to Owl, because he has a fair bit of accessories and also some special gimmicks that are just for him pretty much. So I'll go and show you Owl. So here's Owl, who is probably my favorite character in the manga and in the anime. Actually, I'll take that back. Nia and Owl are pretty much my two equal favorites. Although I feel Nia is not as well established in the anime compared to the manga, I still personally like Nia. But I think Owl is represented well in both versions. Anyway, tangent aside. But I think Owl is definitely my favourite, as well as the figure format. I feel that they captured his look really, really well. Especially with the eyeshadow when he turns around, you'll see. The kind of sombering, thinking expression too. I've got him in a pretty basic pose now because I'll show you the gimmick that he has later on. As well, you can see he has the same display base. And even with Owl, because he's a bit more shorter and smaller, you can see just how massive that base is. So I'm not overly a massive fan of the base, but again, it comes with a metal nameplate, and at least you get one. But yeah, Owl's pretty much got a really simple attire. He pretty much wears this the whole series. I mean, I doubt the man... Oh, actually, he did leave his room, to be fair. You know, he did go and play tennis a couple of times with Light, so he's not a basement dweller that much. Now just a bit of a zoom in to Owl's face, and to really see the details of the makeup, the eyeshadow, the hairstyle too, the kind of wild emo goth look that he had going on. Yeah, overall, I think, figure-wise, I think this is the best one. But that might be my bias coming in, because I prefer Owl compared to Light. But yeah, so the gimmick I was talking about was, obviously you get the chair that he sits in multiple times, and you also get switch out legs that accommodate the chair. So you kind of get this weird hooked toe articulation thing that perfectly rests on the groove of the chair that they give you. And I actually haven't tried it out yet, so I'm going to try it out after. So it seems like it's just a switch out leg. Obviously, no shit, but it looks like you pop it out. It's not magnetized or anything. Hopefully it's not too tedious, because this is kind of reminiscent of a Hot Toys Star Wars lightsaber removal. The old one, where you had to rip the whole hand out. Hopefully this is a bit easier. Also, I have the jointed version. I don't have the silicone version, so I want to see how well the joints actually work compared to the silicone. Obviously, the silicone is going to move much better, but longevity, I'm not too sure how long, and I'm not really comfortable having a silicone body that is going to be permanently put in a crouch pose. And also, my Light in the black suit actually does have the silicone. So this guy is plastic. The Light you saw before in the brown suit is plastic jointed, but the only one that is silicone is the black suit that I have in my collection. Yeah, what I'm going to do now is pose him up, pop these weird things on, and bring the chair and the rest of his accessories out. So this is Al squatting on the chair / sofa with his little goodies there. He's got his computer, his cake, his phone. This is a red kind of gloss, and you peel the adhesive. I don't know if I really want to, because I think mine plays it off well and looks like a wood grain. Even though it's not accurate, I think I would rather this than have it all scratched. And this is the main event for me. This is a test of patience to pose him, especially to get the balance right with him holding the teacup and the little plate. And like I said, this is the jointed one, so you can do it. Obviously, you can have him more hunched over. That is where the silicone is required though. But I think for this version of reference, when he is holding the teacup and the saucepan or the little cup holder, he is kind of straight with his posture compared to a lot of other images. So I think for me, this is perfect with the jointed body that I did purchase. And like I said, this is the feet that hooks onto the chair properly compared to the regular ones that you saw before when he was standing. So now just a really zoomed in profile on L in the chair. I can obviously tweak it much better. I think I will tweak it. The shirt's a bit crooked and the joints are a bit exposed. I can tweak it, but for the sake of the review, it did get the purpose across that he can hunch over and squat with no problem with the jointed body. And yeah, the chair is really good detailing too. It's kind of a merge of plastic and resin, I believe. Some parts feel plasticky, some feel very tough resin. Also, what I do like is the feet of the chair have felt glued onto the ends, so if you do pose it and have it displayed in a detail, it won't scratch the glass. That is really thoughtful of GameToys. And yeah, the texturing is really good. It gives a plush look. You would think it's the real material is what I'm saying. And I'll zoom into the extras there. So you get the computer, you get the old school mid-2000s phone, and you get the cake with a really nice effect with the fork poked into the top. And it's really good texturing. You get the strawberry. You also get the green stem in the strawberry. So it's really, really good detailing. And yeah, the chair's a really, really nice added on accessory. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it with L. What I'm going to do now is get L out the way and bring Season 2 Light, or the more evil version of Light, I guess. Basically the black suit version of Light. So we bring him out now. So we've got black suit Light Yagami here. Pretty much Season 2 final look. And this is amazing as well. I gotta say again, GameToys is really up there. Game, no pun. You know, I saw their Cloud and the rest of their Final Fantasy figures. Maybe it's just the bias because I love this anime so much that I'm really, really impressed with the quality. But I just love what they've done here. I love the expression, and again, I'll zoom in a bit later on, and I might bring both versions of Light up just to show how much they did age this guy up. Because again, this guy is 23 by the end of the anime and the manga, and he does look older here, and I really like that. And obviously I love the expression, the more grimace look. And yeah, I can't wait to pose him in the final reveal look in the panel. So the suit is really, really nice tailored too. It's a little bit dusty, it's a bit of a magnet, but you know, just get a lint roller, a little brush will get rid of that easy. And yeah, it's really, really form-fitting. They've tailored it specifically for their body. And like I said before, this is the silicone body, so you got that squishy, creepy feel to it. And it actually has a lot of heft to it too. I don't have a lot of Phison rubber body figures, but you can feel it's substantially heavier than the other two that I have. And I do like that with it, but something like the armband is going to be very risky to keep that long term. But luckily for this guy, I'm going to have him posed in the panel where he basically reveals that he is Kira, and I'll show it up now. So I don't think this body would be too hindered, and there would be that much of a risk to have him permanently like that. But yeah, if you're going to pose him like this, when he does wear the headset and he is in the helicopter and he gets his memory back, that's going to be pretty risky. And also I might just pan down really, really quick to the accessories. He doesn't come with much this version, because this is kind of like an add-on. Also, because this was an add-on, so all you get with this black suit version is the body itself. You don't get the head sculpt. That comes with the other version. But you also don't get a display base with this version as well. So if you're going to have them all three posed together, this one's going to be out of whack, because the other two have pretty good display bases and this one doesn't. So again, that's a bit disappointing. But going down to the accessories, you get the fountain pen that he has at the end, and you get the watch with the gimmick of the paper. I think that That's not English, that looks like Japanese to me. So, if you don't know, at the end of the anime or manga, he has a little bit of the notebook in his little watch there where he pops it out and he writes, well, he attempts to write Nia's name, which I think, if I remember, was Nate for the translation. So I assume that's what it is there. And yeah, that's really, really well detailed. And also, he does have the watch that I've swapped out under here, but it's not the one with the pop-out technique. And there's the watch there. I was having a battle with the rubber body. Again, that's something else with silicone. Especially with fabric material, it's going to be bunching and pretty tight, and it's pretty much a battle to get it to move. But that was the watch there. So what I'm going to do now is pose all three of them back and give my final thoughts. And that's pretty much it for today. Overall, if I did do a 10 out of 10 rating, I mean, this is a 10 out of 10, you know. I don't usually like doing ratings, but I don't know what else Death Note fans would want. You know, you get everything, including 2 versions of Light. I mean, if I could be picky, I would like a Ryuk and a Nia. Also throw Mallow in there as well. But I feel this is all we're going to get from GameToys. You know, these guys are the main characters. And still, even without the people I mentioned, I think this is a great display piece for Death Note fans. And definitely a worthy piece of my collection. I just can't wait to fully display them all properly in my module cases when I get it for this war here. But until then, I guess they're just going to be shoved in a D12. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like and sub. And I'll see you in the next one.